Mm. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Adama Yabihari Gopi Janavalava Girdi Vadadari Gopi Janavalava Girdi Vadadari Jaya Gopi Janavalava Girdi Vadadari Girdi Vadadari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Raja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalava Girdi Vadadari Gopi Janavalava Girdi Vadadari Gopi Janavalava Girdi Vadadari Jaya Gopi Janava Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Ayarada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Bada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada yeah. Thank you, sweetheart. Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvikacharya Asta Terasata Shishimana's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Premsko Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar. Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Jai Radha Krishna Kopa Kopana Shai Makunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurana ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mai Purnavrik Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Garanga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 50, and we'll finish the chapter up today. Texts 54, 55, 56, and 57. So we'll chant responsively 54. Sudharmam parijatam cha Mahendra prahino dare Yatra shavistito martyo Martya dharmarna yujyate Sudharmam parijatam cha Mahendra parino dare Parino Yatra chavastito martyo Martya dharmarna yujyate Sudharmam parijatam cha Mahendra prahino dare Yatra chavistito martyo Martya dharmarna yujyate. Swadharmam parijata cha Mahendra parino dare Navashivastito martya Martya dharma na yujyate. Like a pro. Sudharmam parijatam cha Mahendra parino dare Yatra chavastito martyo Martya dharmarna yujyate. Anyone else? Sadvarmam parijatam cha Mahendra parino dare Yatra chavastito martyo Martyam dharmar nayujyate. Sudharmam, the Sudharma Assembly Hall. Parijatam, the Parijata tree. Ja, and. Maha Indra, Lord Indra, King of Heaven. Prahinot, delivered. Hare, to Lord Krishna. Yatra, in which Sudharma, Ja, and. Avastitaha, situated. Martya, a mortal. Martya dharmai, by the laws of mortality. Nayujyate, is not affected. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Lord Indra brought Sri Krishna, the Sudharma assembly hall, standing within which a mortal man is not subject to the laws of mortality. Indra also gave the Parijata tree. Please repeat. Lord Indra brought Sri Krishna the Sudharma assembly hall, standing within which a mortal man is not subject to the laws of mortality. Indra also gave the Parijata tree. Short commentaries by the Acharyas. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, he established the Parijata tree there. This is in the past tense in relation to Shukadev and Parikshit's conversation. Jiva Goswami writes, Indra brought the Parijata tree, or rather gave it up when Krishna took it, or previous to that pastime, Krishna arranged for a variety of Parijatas as described in verse 51, different from that stolen from Swarga. These were brought by Indra. The Sudharma hall, however, was only one. Indra did not willingly send it. The word hare indicates that that Krishna took it by force. Text 55. Shamaika Varnan Varuno Hayan Shuklan Manojavan Astal Nidhi Pati Koshan Lokapalo Nijodayan. Lord Varuna offered horses as swift as the mind, some of which were pure dark blue, others white. The treasurer of the demigods, Kuvera, gave his 8 mystic treasures, and the rulers of various planets each presented their own opulences. Purport. Sridhar Swami comments as follows on this verse. The master of the treasury is Kuvera, and the 8 treasures are his nidhis. These are described as follows. Padmaschaiva Mahapadmo Matsya Kurma Tatal Daka Nilo Mukunda Shankascha Nidhayo Sta Prakirtita. The 8 mystic treasures are called Padma, Mahapadma, Matsya Kurma, Adaka, Nila, Mukunda, and Shanka. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has a brief comment. Kuvera is the lord of treasure, Nidhi Pati. His treasures are Padmanidhi, Mahapadmanidhi, Matsyanidhi, Kurmanidhi, Udakanidhi, Nilanidhi, Mukundanidhi, and Shankanidhi. The masters of the directions gave their own particular wealth. Jiva Goswami writes, Lokapala means other devatas. So we're seeing here all the devatas are giving Krishna's gifts. They're having gifts taken from them in some cases, like Indra, to adorn Krishna's new city of Dwarka. Yad yat bhagavata datam adipatyam swa sidhadye sarvam pratyarpayam asur haran bhumi gate nipa. The Supreme Lord having come to the earth, O King, these demigods now offered him whatever powers of control he had previously delegated to them for the exercise of their particular authority. This is a nice verse. The Supreme Lord having come to the earth, O King, these demigods now offered him whatever powers of control he had previously delegated to them for the exercise of their particular authority. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, by the power of Yogamaya potency, he brought the citizens of Mathura to Dwarka. This is described in the Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda. While the residents of Mathura were in deep sleep, Janardana picked them up and placed them suddenly in Dwarka. When they woke up, they saw that they were sitting with wives and children in golden houses. He consulted Balaram, saying, "You stay here for a short time, and by this strategy, I will have someone kill him," referring to Kalyavana. Someone's going to kill him. That's going to be Muchukunda. Jiva Goswami writes, "They gave their powers to the Lord, who, for fun, gathered all his various powers for enjoying his pastimes. They gave their powers to the Lord, for he was Swayam Bhagavan, who appeared on earth for his supreme pastimes." Very important point. The demigods, realizing that Krishna is the supreme Lord, they willingly, and sometimes not willingly, gave their opulences to him. Shukadev calls out enthusiastically to Parikshit, "O king, one should see Harivamsa for an elaborate description of the making of Dwarka. Tatra yoga prabhavena nitva sarva janam hari prajapalena ramena Krishna samanu mantrita nirjagama paradwarat padma mali nirayuda." After transporting all his subjects to the new city by the power of his mystic Yogamaya, Lord Krishna consulted with Balaram, who had remained in Mathura to protect it. Then, wearing a garland of lotuses, but bearing no weapons, Lord Krishna went out of Mathura by its main gate. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes the following verses from Sri Padma Purana Uttarakhanda to describe how Lord Krishna transferred the citizens from Mathura to Dwarka, and this is the same as it previously was. In the middle of the night, as the citizens of Mathura slept, Lord Janardhan suddenly removed them from that city and placed them in Dwarka. When the men awoke, they were all amazed to find themselves with their children and their wives sitting inside palaces made of gold. And Jiva Goswami has a similar purport, but there is a couple lines here I want to read. The word Hari indicates that he took them away. Sridhar Swami explains that Lord Krishna told Balaram to protect the people. This means that most of the people had been transferred to Dwarka, and a few remained outside of Mathura. Balaram stayed among them to protect them, or he remained at Krishna's side amidst a protective army. Or don't worry that Kalyavana cannot be killed by the Yadavas. I will kill him by Muchkunda. You remain here and protect the city. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyanan Ganan Shalakaya Shakshu Umilitangena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Badaya Krishna Bastai Bhutale Shrimati Bhakta Vedanta Swamini Tanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvasesa Sunyavadi Pashchadeshwari Vanchakalpa Turubhyas Cha Kripa Sindhu Vyeva Chapatitanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavebhyo Manomanaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're ending this chapter and segueing into the next chapter, which is entitled "The Liberation of Muchukunda." It could be entitled the Demise of Kalyavana. If we remember, Kalyavana has the benediction that he can't be killed by the Yadu dynasty because Gargya, who, depending on which source you read, is either the son of Gargamuni or Gargamuni himself, was granted the benediction that he would have a son who would be able to harass the Yadavas, the Vrishni dynasty. So Krishna, in his infinite wisdom and total mystic power, is going to arrange a situation whereby he's killed by someone else, not in the Vrishni dynasty. And in the end, the last verse talks about how Krishna walks out of Mathura with no weapons. Just walks out of Mathura. There's a few left there, few people, with Balaram protecting them. Jarasanda's coming down for his next attack. And he just walks out. And while, as you'll see in the next chapter, he just walks, and Kalyavana tries to catch up to him, but can never do that. Because no matter how fast one runs, if one's not a devotee, one can't capture Krishna. So, let's look at verse number 54. Verse number 54 is an interesting verse because it refers to something that actually happens in a later chapter of the Bhagavatam. It actually refers to a pastime that happens in chapter 59, where Krishna defeats Bhaumasura, or Narakasura sometimes he's called, who was actually his son, but became a demon because of bad association, and had imprisoned 16,100 princesses and stolen Aditi's earrings and necklace from her. And in this way, he was completely harassing the demigods with his great power. I'll just read the first paragraph of chapter 59 from the Krishna book, and then we'll talk about something later in this chapter. The story of Bhaumasura, how he kidnapped and made captive 16,000 princesses by collecting them from the palaces of various kings, and how he was killed by Krishna, the Supreme Lord of wonderful character, is all described by Shukadeva Goswami to King Parikshit in Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, the demons are always against the demigods. This demon, Bhaumasura, having become very powerful, took by force the umbrella from the throne of the demigod Varuna. He also took the earrings of Aditi, the mother of the demigods. He conquered a portion of the heavenly Mount Meru and occupied the portion known as Mani Parvata. The king of the heavenly planets, Indra, therefore, came to Dwarka to complain about Bhaumasura before our Lord Krishna. Indra's always, when it's convenient, he's coming to complain to Indra. When he's, other times, he's fighting with Krishna. That's because he's a mixed devotee. He's not a pure devotee. He has material desires. And because of those material desires, he often acts in ways which are foolish and outside of what we would call normal devotional service. So let's read later in the 59th chapter about the Parijata tree and how this tree is taken from Indra by Krishna. This is further down. I'm not sure how far down it is because I'm reading an excerpt here later, but it's in chapter 59 of Krishna book. When Krishna and Satyabhama were returning from the capital of city of Indra, Satyabhama remembered Krishna's promise to give her a Parijata tree. Taking the opportunity of having come to the heavenly kingdom, she uprooted a Parijata tree and placed it on the back of Garuda. Once Narada had taken a Parijata flower and presented it to Krishna's senior wife, Sri Rukmini Devi. On account of this, Satyabhama had developed an inferiority complex. She also wanted such a flower from Krishna. Krishna could understand the competitive, womanly nature of his co-wives, and he had smiled. He had immediately asked Satyabhama, "Why are you asking for only one flower? I would like to give you a whole tree of Parijata flowers." Can you get me some more water? Thank you. Actually, Krishna had purposely taken his wife Satyabhama with him so that she could collect the parijata with her own hand. But the denizens of the heavenly planets, including Indra, were very irritated. Without their permission, Satyabhama had uprooted a parijata tree, which is not found on the earth planet. Indra, along with other demigods, offered opposition to Krishna and Satyabhama for taking away the tree. Thank you very much. In order to please his favorite wife, Satyabhama, Krishna had become determined and adamant. So there was a fight between the demigods and Krishna. As usual, Krishna came out victorious, and he triumphantly brought the parijata tree chosen by his wife to this planet, to this earth planet, to Dwarka. After this tree was installed in the palace garden of Satyabhama. On account of this extraordinary tree, the garden house of Satyabhama became extraordinarily beautiful. As the parijata tree came down to the earthly planet, the fragrance of its flowers also came down, and the celestial drones migrated to this earth in search of their fragrance and honey. King Indra's behavior towards Krishna was not very much appreciated by the great sages like Shukadeva Goswami. Out of his causeless mercy, Krishna had gone to the heavenly kingdom, Amaravati, to present King Indra with his mother's earrings, which had been lost to Bhamasura, and Indra had been very glad to receive them. But when a parijata tree from the heavenly kingdom was taken by Krishna, Indra had fought with him. I mean, Indra didn't mind getting something, but when it came to the parijata tree, forget it. So Indra is, he's very materialistic, even though he's a devotee. This was self-interest on the part of Indra. He had offered his prayer, tipping down his head to the lotus feet of Krishna. But as soon as his purpose had been served, he became a different creature. This is the materialistic prayer of a materialistic devotee. That is the way of the dealings of materialistic men. Materialistic men are always interested in their own profit. For this purpose, they can offer any kind of respect to anyone, but when their personal interest is over, they are no longer friends. This selfish nature is found not only among the richer class of men on this planet, but even in personalities like Indra and other demigods. Too much wealth makes a man selfish. A selfish man is not prepared to take to Krishna consciousness and is condemned by great devotees like Shukadeva Goswami. In other words, possession of too many worldly riches is a disqualification for advancement in Krishna consciousness. Now, if one's a pure devotee, it's not a disqualification. But if one's like Indra, it's a disqualification. Because Indra, he has association with Krishna a lot. But he's never asking for pure devotion. He's always asking for stuff. Defeat the demons. Get rid of this Bhamasura, he's bothering us. Get my mother's earrings back. And then when Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, decides to take a parijata tree, he's all bent out of shape. Why? Because he's a materialist. So this materialistic mentality has to be cleansed from the heart of the devotee. And that is only done by the process of Krishna consciousness. You don't hear too much about Indra chanting japa or joining kirtans because he's busy doing sacrifices to the Supreme Lord to get stuff. It's all karma kanda. It's all materialistic worship. So materialistic worship, Krishna says, kama sava karma moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param, that whether you have all desires or no desires or desire liberation, you should worship me. But if we're just worshiping for things, the possibility of just getting those things and then turning against Krishna is there. So Prabhupada is giving us an instruction here, and Indra is giving us instruction. Indra's activities are instructions for everyone. Let's look at the next verse. The next verse deals with Lord Varuna, and it talks about how he offered horses as swift as the mind, some of which were pure dark blue. Can you imagine a pure dark blue horse? Others white. The treasure of the demigods, Kuvera, gave his 8 mystic treasures, and the rulers of various planets each presented their own opulences. So everyone is giving what they can to Krishna. And Kuvera has got some really wonderful things. Now, I looked up what these actually were, and there are different lists. They are similar. Sometimes the names are a little different. But these are, I can give you, from what I looked up, what these actually were, these different gifts that he gave to Krishna, were from his needies. His needies, what they are these mystic opulences. One second here. The needies there, and this is 9 listed here, and they have some of the same names, but to give you some idea. Mahapadma, great lotus flower, or lake double the size of Padma in the Himalaya, with minerals and jewels. Padma, lotus, or a Himalayan lake with treasures. Shanka, conch shell. Makara, crocodile, or like a crocodile, like a cross between a crocodile and a dolphin. Kachapa, tortoise or turtle shell. Kumuda, cinnabar. Quicksilver, that's mercury. Kunda, jasmine or arsenic. Nila, sapphire. And Karva, cups, vessels baked in fire. So he gave these different gifts. This is what all he could give. And Krishna, of course, accepts these gifts. But the real gifts that he really accepts and really cares about aren't these opulences of a demigod like Kuvera, who is very opulent and puffed up and rich. But what he really appreciates are the offerings made by the pure devotees, which is love. After all, he tells the gopis, I can't repay your love. There's no way, even in the day of Brahma, I can repay your love, because what you've done by giving up everything for me, it's beyond any ability of me to give you what you really deserve. So these demigods, they're offering him their trinkets, which may be very nice for the materialist. But for the devotee, for the pure devotee in Krishna, that relationship has nothing to do with offering trinkets. Well, one may say, what about patram pushpam palam toyam? Offer a leaf of water, fruit, flower. Well, that means a pure devotee can offer what's there to Krishna, but it's not the leaf, fruit, or flower that Krishna cares about. It's the love of the devotee. He cares more about a leaf, fruit, or flower offered by a pure devotee than Kuvera's fancy offerings of, mercury, gold, silver, and the like. Because the devotee is offering his heart or her heart to Krishna. And the demigods, they're doing some business transaction. They're pious. They're not like demons who just want to kill Krishna and deny that, but they want Krishna to be on their side so that they can be happy in this world. And too many times we see that religious processes, they teach us how to be happy in this world. Now, to be happy in this world is really a folly, because the world is like dukkhalayam ashasvatam. It's temporary, and it has many miserable effects. And we're eternal spirit souls, full of knowledge and bliss. So we cannot possibly take the pure soul who is seeking an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord and put that soul into a material world bound by time and matter And we cannot be happy. And whatever happiness we do experience, it is a dim reflection of the real happiness in the spiritual world. And even if we have it, we lose it. Mother Yashoda can love Krishna as a baby for eternity. A mother in this material world, they say, take advantage of the fact that the child is, your child is young because you don't get it again. So, you enjoy the baby when she or he is, 18 months and then 3 years. You're not going to get that again. You're not going to have an eternal relationship with your cute little baby who's, 2.5 or 4 years old. Mother Yashoda is. She can have that eternally. But ours is fleeting. Because later on, when the son becomes a bank robber, mom may not have quite the same relationship with him. He's grown up and he's been a disappointment. But she remembers, she looks at the pictures, he was such a nice boy, and visits him in prison. But it's not the same feeling. It's not, because it's the material world and everything is fleeting. If we look at text number 56, there's some very important points made. Text number 56 says, the Supreme Lord, having come to earth, O king, these demigods now offer him whatever powers of control he had previously delegated to them for the exercise of their particular authority. And Jiva Goswami highlights this when he says, they gave their powers to the Lord, for he was Swayam Bhagavan, who had appeared on earth for his supreme pastimes. So the point being is that these demigods, whatever they give to us or to anyone, they're doing only on the behest of Krishna. They don't have any power outside of what Krishna can give them. Similarly, we don't have any power. Whatever opulences we have, we should always remember that is given to us by Krishna. We have to remember, actually, everything is given to us by Krishna. Good things, quote, good things and bad things in the material world are given to us by Krishna. And as devotees, they're given to us so that we can become closer to him. We should understand that the Supreme Lord is always acting out of love for his devotee. But if we turn to the Bhagavad Gita, we can see how the Bhagavad Gita speaks about the relative nature of the demigods and how by worshiping demigods, one is foolish, and how the demigods, whatever they give, whatever they're able to do to help their worshipers, it's just being given on behalf of the Supreme Lord, and it is a temporary material gift that doesn't last and doesn't satisfy the soul. So we turn to chapter 7, text number 20. And I'll just read the English. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. And Prabhupada then quotes this verse, Kama Sava, Kama Va Moksha, Kama Udaradi, Tivrena, Bhakti Yogena, Yajeta Purusham Param, saying that less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of the demigods for immediate fulfillment of material desires. And we see this. Even people take shelter in different religious systems. Jesus wants you to be rich, be healthy. That's good. But how long will you be rich? And how long will you be healthy? We're going to live forever, but not in this body. We live forever in a relationship with Krishna. So therefore, the devotee understands that these demigods are benedicting with trinkets. Let's go on here. I am in everyone's heart as a supersoul, and as soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So Krishna gives the faith to the materialist so that one can worship. But Krishna also, worship for material things, but Krishna also sends his pure devotees. And the pure devotee enters into this material world in order to entice those personalities who are covered by ignorance and maybe worshiping demigods or worshiping God for material benefit, and teaches them how they should actually stop worshiping for these temporary material things and worship the Lord so that they can become eternal servants. We are eternal servants, so that we can actually realize that eternal servitude of Krishna. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya, he comes and he gives the Maha Mantra in this age, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, if we chant purely, we have Radha Krishna dancing on our tongue. And if we chant in kirtan and people hear, they have a samskara of the Supreme Lord and his mercy injected into their heart, which gives them a chance to give up this idea of worshiping for some lesser thing. Next verse. Endowed with such faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Krishna will bestow these benefits, but the benefits we should be praying for are the benefits that Srila Prabhupada and the pure acharyas in our line are giving, which is the opportunity to actually have an internal relationship with Krishna in Braj. In a mood of a gopi or a gopa, in a mood of an eternal associate of the Supreme Lord. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my planet. So why should we hear Krishna Katha? We should hear Krishna Katha or the talks about Krishna's wonderful pastimes so that we can become fixed on Krishna and give up our attachment to this material world, these material ideas, these material attractions. Krishna, looking ahead to other verses, text number 23 of the 9th chapter. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship me alone, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. We want to worship Krishna in the right way. We're being taught the right way by our guru Varga, our line of gurus, beginning from our guru to Prabhupada, to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the great acharyas of the Middle Ages, and Lord Chaitanya. And finally, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, these demigods who are so great, this is verse 2 of the 10th chapter, what are they? Well, they're bewildered. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin and opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. So, because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor to such speculators. Yet despite the Supreme Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is supreme. The idea is that people have is somehow or other the reverse of the opposite of the material world is nothing. But actually, the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. And Krishna comes to give us information of that spiritual world, which we get from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we hear from pure devotees. And when the pure devotee speaks in our ear, it goes to the heart, and it creates a samskara. And that samskara allows us to continue to work through the process of Krishna consciousness, to purify our heart, and to become able to understand our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which will come naturally at the time it's supposed to happen. And our Guru will give us the direction we need in order to actually act in our eternal position as a servant of the Lord. And I'll stop here because it looks like it's time. And maybe they're taking a little extra time. It's very difficult for people to think not to worship demigods. That's a disadvantage of people coming from India and Hinduism. Because this whole thing about demigod worship, it's a sort of Mayavad. Its idea is that, I worship the demigods, they're the embodiment of some, nebulous source of energy, which is God. But God is not zero. God is a person. Yeah. Krishna makes very clear that people are acting foolishly, and they're not acting in their own self-interest. They're acting in their self-interest, identifying themselves as Indians or Americans or as men or women or as this or that. But who we really are is Das Anudas Anudas, servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. That is who we really are. So we'll begin chapter 51 tomorrow, and that is the deliverance of Muchakunda. Haribo. Yeah, yeah.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anandani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Chirandaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvisesha Samyavadi Paschachadistatharini Jai Prabhupada Gauravani Pacharini Jai Prabhupada Samyavadi Jai Prabhupada Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri